Most people out there don't generate leads the way we do. Now, that might be the most arrogant thing I've ever said in my life, but that's what I hear a lot from a lot of people. Now, what are the things that people are going through in order to need this service or the product you have? Like what are the emotional stages that they're having? In the first few days of launching this, they had 35 leads at $7 a lead and they sold 5 properties. 5 properties off 35 leads. So when we do that, we're going to come at whatever content you've made in the past, ours is going to be 10 times better. If you're brand new to sales, I'm going to pick the way that's cheaper to generate leads. If you've got no idea about pitching your product, you've never built your offer, you don't know how to close people yet, we're going to do the lowest possible price option because it's going to allow you to get your reps in. Alrighty guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are going to be covering off a topic for the already existing ad doers, the people that are already generating leads. We're going to be covering off on an episode about how to improve your Facebook ads, about how to improve the quality of the leads that are coming through. And as well, if you haven't launched ads before, you've never ran lead generation ads, then that's okay. You'll still get a lot of value from this episode. It's going to be shorter than our normal episodes, but this one's a little bit of a steps on what we do for the clients that are already running campaigns. Now, most people out there don't generate leads the way we do. Now, that might be the most arrogant thing I've ever said in my life, but that's what I hear a lot from a lot of people. Now, we don't always get a perfect result. Contrary to belief, we do make minor mistakes occasionally. I say minor. We do make mistakes, and getting leads the first time isn't always like the most perfect, highest quality lead. All right. Now, we've done a lot of lead generation over the last, for myself, I've been doing lead generation for over 10 years. So for me, I've had lots of ups and downs, but Earng Media has a formula, which we call our stage 1 of generating leads and getting everything set up properly. Now, one of the main things if you're generating leads and you want to generate a better quality lead online is really think about your offer. Like, what do people want to buy from you? Okay. Now, what a lot of businesses and what a lot of marketing agencies, what a lot of people do when they start wanting to generate leads online is they start to generate leads with the intent of, let me just put up something that explains what I do and we'll see what sticks. Not a bad model. But what normally happens is we start to gear towards what's the cheapest possible way to generate leads. Now, for a lot of businesses, they run things like reports or audits or, get a review done. And that typically gets you a really bad quality lead as far as we've seen. Now, when we come in and see someone that has got leads set up, they're about to start, what we initially do is we go into a very, very in-depth focus on the outcome of the offer. So what are the things that people are going through in order to need this service or the product you have? Like, what are the emotional stages that they're having, the emotional stages they're having in their life? What is the goal they're looking for? And we really start to bring in like a very directness to the campaigns. Now, for a lot of our clients, we'll always look for a very, very direct way to generate leads. Now, I have mapped out over 1,500 video scripts and online companies that are running Facebook ads. So if you've ever seen our Excel sheet that we do this in, we map out the exact script people are running. We then framework it so that we understand the psychology behind the lines and what they're saying in what orders. Now, that is how we rewrite scripts to always work, is that we use the frameworks of what we know works from other industries, other companies. All right. Now, what we mainly attach into that is the really directness to the offer. Now, being direct and being very, very, very direct around the inclusions and the qualifications that you need to be able to purchase or inquire about your service is going to get you a very efficient sales process. Now, it might not get you the cheapest possible lead, but it's going to get you the highest conversion. So we're working with a property client at the moment. Can't mention who they are, naturally, because you'll be able to go see what they're running. And they would hate me for that. But they are running ads that are very, very direct at the moment. And we switched around that, they were running tax campaigns, they were running ebooks, they were running everything, multiple campaigns. we switched around to a very, very direct offer that explained the exact thing that they wanted people to invest in, all right? Now, the leads that started coming through were very direct. They were very qualified and they were ready to go. So the sales call then became, every 100 people, we ruled out one person who's worth talking to 1 in 10. They had over a 10% conversion rate on purchasing of a property. Now, in the first few days of launching this, they had 35 leads at $7 a lead, and they sold 5 properties. 5 properties off 35 leads, right? Now, that was in the first little runway of launching this campaign. Now, we then went and tried this particular model out for a few different options and ran it for longer, and it worked really well. And then we started doing it in other industries, right? Now, what I want to get down to is what we do for people that's a little bit different is that we create the offer to be very, very specific to exactly what you sell, right? Now, if I can go and create the campaign and put the price in there, I put exactly what the conditions are, and I put exactly the details of what they're purchasing, naturally, the person's going to be at a higher quality. Now, depending on the industry, that does have its effect, and sometimes it's positivity, right? It's not always the case that that's what we do. But the first thing we do if someone is running ads, and the first thing we look at is the offer. We go back and look at, hey, does this let people know exactly what they're applying for and exactly what the steps from here are in the initial ad? And if the answer is no to that, normally we start to look at trying to test something that does answer that question. Now, it doesn't matter what you're selling, whether it's mattresses, it's sheds, if it's property, it's about creating that opportunity to get the information very directly and apply to get started, right? So that's the first ad that we'll look at creating when someone does want to come on board and they're already running ads. When we go and do that, 90% of the time, even more, the campaigns go very, very well. They get very, very, very successful at that. Now, naturally, we've got a team of graphic designers, we've got a team of videographers, we've got a team of editors, right? So when we do that, we're going to come at whatever content you've made in the past, ours is going to be 10 times better, right? So we come out with 15, 20 brand new videos that are really well shot with actors. And that then means that we can launch a very, very solid campaign very quickly. And it normally gets a very good result very quickly. All right. Now, the secondary to running a really direct campaign is running a campaign that piques someone's interest extremely high, right? Now, this comes into, you might not explain the entire offer here, but it's about a campaign that piques people's interest that qualify for what you do. Now, I'm going to use superannuation as an example. A lot of superannuation companies need to have people that qualify on a financial level. You need to have $200,000 to qualify for this, right? So when we run campaigns that people want to target people with $200,000, what do people with their superannuation, or if you're in America or your 401k, what do people want when they've got money that's invested? What do you want with money that's invested? You want the highest possible return, right? And the safest return. I don't want it to be risking everything, but I want a highest possible return. So when I want to generate leads for something like that, it's genuinely about piquing their interest to be at the highest possible level. It's not go and move here because there's skepticism. It's about piquing their interest high so that then people question it and they go, well, yeah, maybe I can improve what I've got, all right? And then that begins the process of the sales call. So when we want to shift a campaign, or even when we're starting a new campaign, it's either about being so damn direct that it tells you the price, the steps, the exact specs of everything that's going on, and exactly where to click to get started. And then you click, you get started, you get on the sales call, and they're like, hey, thanks so much for calling. Yeah, so excited. Everything looks good, right? That's one option, right? Now that typically is going to cost a little bit more in price, okay? Because it's so direct that you should speak to a ton less people, but people that you do speak to are ready to go. All right. The secondary thing that we will do is we will look into and that's that option of then being a little bit more heightening of their interest. It's about then going, what's going to pique their interest to a level that's going to make them get excited about this? What's going to make them go and question what they're currently doing? And that's the secondary campaign that we'll build to make sure that we're balancing it out. We'll always do both, right? We try to always do both. Now, when you run both of those, you get one that's very, very high conversion, but a little bit more pricey to run. And then you get a campaign that's getting a lot of interest, but typically is a lot cheaper to generate leads. Okay. So from those two campaigns, what we then look at is what's profitable between the two. Are you getting a lot more success from having more data, having more people to talk to, or are you getting a lot more success from having people that are just ready to go? Now, here's the factors that we haven't talked about. If you're brand new to sales, I'm going to pick the way that's cheaper to generate leads. If you've got no idea about pitching your product, you've never built your offer, you don't know how to close people yet, we're going to do the lowest possible price option because it's going to allow you to get your reps in. It's going to allow you to get practice at closing deals. Because if I give you this one, let's say it costs you $60 a lead and you're not very good at closing, you're probably not going to do a very good job at closing these. So working your practice on the cheaper leads is sometimes the better option. Now, if you've got a very good sales team and they're onto it and they store their data properly, naturally getting the higher quality option most of the time is the best thing to do. If you do like the volume approach though, where it's like we want to run a large sales team, high volume, getting cheap leads and nurturing them that way is always another factoring thing. So with businesses, this is the first things that we normally look at doing that really give the facelift to success. And if you're running campaigns already, this happens all the time. We have a client come in, they want to work with us. We go and rebuild the campaigns. We build something that's an interest peaker, and then we build a very direct campaign. Now, out of those two campaigns, it's normally very often that they both work better than what you've currently got running. And that's because we create much better videos. We create much more tailored, targeted ads. Now, the third thing that we'll normally do about refining to try and get a better quality lead if you're already running something is take what's currently working and make it specific to a group of people. So we'll give an example, a mattress brand as an example. We have one of our clients who sells mattresses. We were getting success from running just the mattresses, right? Launching the mattresses. Now, we got a lot more success when we made that exact same offer, the exact same ad, but instead of it targeting for just people who want to buy a mattress, it targeted tradies with a back pain. And it was a little bit more targeted, right? So those little key aspects are about then, the tradie with the back pain feels like this offer is tailored to them. It's no different to my own advertisements, how we target our lead generation ads to property companies. We target it to NDIS companies. We target it to superannuation companies. Right? Why? Because the people that are in those businesses then become 99% of the leads that come through that funnel. All right? We have a VA company that hires offshore staff over in the Philippines. Now, they very similar. Like we started targeting tradies. We started targeting NDIS. Now, 99% of the people that come through the NDIS ads are from an NDIS industry. Now, what does that do? It helps us improve in conversion rate because we start to learn the lingo. We start to get consistency in the businesses that come through. We start to understand their industry more than they understand it. All right. Now, what that does in the grand scheme of things is it allows us to improve conversion. So one of the other things we look at doing is when you're already running ads, let's say that you are a property company. What we start to do, let's say we're a property company, we're running a tax campaign to generate inquiries about how to invest in property for tax benefits. One of the first things we'll look at doing is making that tax campaign tailored to a certain suburb or a certain city. So it's like, hey, Gold Coasters, here's the tips to buy property to get the most benefits with tax, right? Now, all the Gold Coasters see that and they're like, oh, this is tailored to me. You could do it to Queenslanders. The top tips to invest in property if you're living in Queensland, right? Now that makes it feel more tailored than just saying the top tips to invest in property if you're looking for tax benefits, all right? So that's the final thing that if you're already running ads, you're already getting success, tailoring it down to a certain group of people makes them feel like that this whole campaign is attacking you. It's approaching you. It's focused at you, right? We see it in politics. when someone runs a political campaign and they want to tear down another group, they do it by targeting a very specific group of people. When you want a group of people to follow you, you do the same thing. You start relating to them in a way that they believe it, right? So it's really going down on the psychology of people that we are kind of like sheep. We want to follow the people we like, and we want to follow the advice that's tailored to us. So going in there and making sure that the exact same campaign, the exact same offer can tailor to the main people that you want to sell to, or the main people you want to be clients, will make your offer far more attractive to those people. Now, people will actually pay more for it because it's tailored to them rather than it just being the general thing. So you'll actually then be able to get a lot more directness into what you do, and a lot more people wanting what you have because they feel like it's a tailored approach exclusively for them and their industry, or exclusively for them and where they live. So I hope that's helpful. That's the main things that we look at doing if someone's running ads and they want to improve what they've already got, or if they're looking at getting refined what they want to do and get a better result out of what they're running. A lot of our clients that come to us that are already running ads, these are the steps that we take. Now, you can copy all of what I've said today. The part that we help with a lot is the grunt work of setting this up properly. So we've got all the graphic designers, we've got all the video editors, and everyone's sitting there ready to go. So the part that we do really well is creating the offer and making sure all of the content is just perfect to attract the right kind of people. So guys, I hope that's helpful. I hope it gives you some insight of what you should be changing about your campaigns, and any questions that you'd like to go through, please feel free to reach out, and I'd love to follow up further and talk to you. Otherwise, below there will be the link through the written up blog of where we cover off basically what we covered today in a bit of a written format. So guys, hope today was valuable, and I'll see you on the next episode.